family, guess what? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and guess what? It's time to talk. Big shout out to IMP. I know you saw that. Wonderful devices. Information was there. Make sure you reach out to them if you're in need of any adaptive fit, sturdy bump, any of those. Big shout out to my friend Dr. Jason Ortiz for his support. But family, I know you've seen my post. I know you've seen it. It is time. It is time. The post is there. Go get your copy today. Get your copy today, and let's talk about it. Let's dive deep into it. I want to hear everything you have to say. Any feedback, I welcome that. And definitely, if you see me, holler at me. I will make sure you get it signed. But family, I was poised to talk about what happens when you have somebody who goes out of their way, learns about our profession, takes the test, and then the door is consistently slammed in their face because they don't have the experience. They challenge the test, successfully pass the test, and then nobody wants to give them an opportunity. Hard thing. We were going to talk about that, and then, due to circumstances beyond our control, I still want to get into that a little bit, but I want to talk about when same set of circumstances, you getting people in your departments with no experience, and you're having to take them through training and what that actually looks like when it's somebody from, EBS, somebody from dietary, somebody who, again, heard of you, never knew what you did, but is very interested in the field. I want us to help them, help you, help me, help you, get some knowledge out there on what we can do to make that transition easier for other managers, other directors, other lead techs. So what I want to do is I want to be transparent for a second. So what I did, I went out and got my lead tech who deals with this on a daily basis, and her shift is actually the main shift that we deal with this on. So I wanted you to hear firsthand of how that looks, what's working, what's not, what we're having to revamp. But I wanted you to hear it from the words of somebody who's actually living it right now. So when I went back and I invited Miss Rebecca Clark to come in, just talk with me for a second so she could share her experiences of training somebody with no experience at all. So when she joins us, that's what we're going to be talking about. But while I get into that, what does that look like? How are you prepared to take on somebody with no experience who's only read the book? I know for us, we have a strenuous program where we, walk them through 12 weeks of on-the-job training, one preceptor through the whole process so that the process is consistent. And that's what it comes down to, having that consistent process where they have a go-to person that they can talk to, that they can ask their questions of, and if need be, you do still have your lead, your supervisor, and then it trickles up to the management on top of that. But what does that look like, though? I know back in one of my earlier episodes in last season, we talked about where do you start them at? Is it on a table? Is it decon? What does that look like? And again, we agree to disagree. There is no right answer. It does basically depend on that facility, that department. But training is essential to that foundation. So when you're talking about building a foundation, and the person walks in gung-ho, ready to go, and you stick them in decon. We'll just start with decon for this particular exercise. So you stick them in decon, and there's going to be a lot of questions. Just know they've never touched the instrument before. They've never had on PPE before. This is all foreign. So what is to be expected in that? And the reason I talk about this or wanted to talk about this is because the young lady that we were going to talk to, she said that upon walking into her facility for the first time, it was like she was in a foreign land. Uh, they were like, "You're certified. Why do we need to help you? You're, you come in here. Why are you even here?" And I don't want any of our team members to feel like that. Why are you even here? You're certified. Why do I have to help you? Knowing that all they did was take the test, get the certification, and then now looking for that hands-on experience. And from what I was told, that took her a year to actually get somebody to give her a chance. So what message are we conveying as leaders, managers, directors, any of the above, if we're supposed to be growing the industry and it takes a year for somebody to willingly accept you with your certification, but you just don't have any experience because you never had that OJT, you didn't go to a school, you took the book, challenged the test, and successfully passed it, but nobody wanted to give you a chance. Same thing with some of these positions that we have. When you're talking, "Hey, Rebecca,
Hi,
how are you?"
I'm good. How are you?
"I'm good." Uh, when you're talking somebody coming from EVS, you're talking somebody coming from dietary, they're coming because they wanted to better their career, they wanted to further their career, and we are there to guide them through these steps. Rebecca, what I wanted to talk about today, I did tell the people that you are lead tech, and for the second shift, we've had some technical difficulties. Uh, it's been a little bit, uh, I won't say rough, but a little bit rough going, trying to keep some of the ingrown talent that we've been trying to cultivate. So for you, in your own words, uh, and I know we've had a rough year and a half, 2 years with the second shift. So
Yeah.
what do you feel is the barrier with somebody wanting to stay once they said, "Okay, I want to come in, I want to learn this, I want to do this, I'm gung ho, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready." We get all this training done, and then just for them to be like, "Oh, this is not for me." What is
Uh,
the barrier for that?
to keep them motivated, really, is like you can always tell them, like, this is the whys. The whys are why. Like, it's the most important thing. The whys we do it, the why it's important, the how come, this is the way we do it, and why. There's always room for growing, always room for learning. Like, even if they're not happy here, there's always places out there where they can expand and grow. This is not just a place where you're not stuck here. This
Okay.
isn't SPD is not just one place and that's it. It's everywhere, and we're everywhere, and we're always important. So making them feel important, feeling like they're doing an important job, is really what I like to make them feel like they're doing, because it is.
So, just in that general concept of what you're saying there, how would or what would we do different, or what can you think we could do differently for, say, somebody that's in house, the like a EVS worker or a dietary or a transport, any of those people who want to come over? Yes, we can tell them the why. We give them a walkthrough. They see what we do, but it's when they start getting the hands on, they're like, "Hey, this is not what I expected. I'm going back to where I came from," or you know what, this is not for me. I'll transfer as soon as I get an opportunity. What
Yeah.
can we do differently in that aspect to make them actually see the physicality, see the technicality of what we do? And like Knowledge and Nonsense says, the why is always helpful to know. So we give them the why. It's
Yeah.
not but when they get to the actual doing, the hands-on portion, they're like, "Oh, this is more technical than I thought."
It
What
is.
is there anything that can be done?
Um, Give them a walkthrough first. Don't sugarcoat it. Say this is an extremely, demanding job. You have to be on your point, because you really do. Because the only person who suffers at that point is the patient, and that's not what it's about. So, if they want to grow, we're here to let them grow. If they want to grow elsewhere, we can help them grow out too.
Okay, and so we give them the walkthrough, and I know that we try to implement share days. Is one day enough time for somebody to effectively see what happens? Because
No.
uh, yeah, because you could come on a day shift where it's you know relaxed, not as hectic all the time, or you could come on an evening shift where at 3 o'clock all the cases break, all the case carts are down, and you're in decon like what just happened.
Yeah.
So is one day enough of a share day for somebody?
No. I don't think so, no. I think having probably about a week of like, constant coming in and seeing the different shifts as well is really important. I think if we could implement something where like they came in first shift, came in second shift, and saw the different shifts and what each process, like each shift is doing, and then how that finishes the whole process, and maybe in a week, I think maybe they could be like, yeah, this could be for me, or no, this isn't for me. Because we, like you said, we have had people come in and they're like, they go through the whole process of the 13 weeks of training, and then they're like, yeah, sorry, I'm going back. You're
Right,
like,
right, right,
oh
right,
no.
right. And then I know that's deflating when you spent that much time training somebody, and then you come in and you're like, hey, the person is transferred or they just quit, and you're like, all that time invested. So from a standpoint of a lead, how do you keep positive, knowing that that's a possibility every time you get a new person?
I mean, honestly, I think that having people training is always a positive thing, regardless of whether they stay or not, because one, a lot of the times, even people who've been here for a while seem to forget the basics. So when you're going through the training process, you're going through and teaching that person the basics. So things you've overlooked for who knows how long, now you're going back and you're kind of like relearning with them. And
Okay.
I think that's a positive feature. Like, yeah, you may have, as you want to say, wasted your time, but did you really? Did you did you really waste your time, or did you get an insight on something that you may have been overlooking or forgotten about?
That, I think that's a very good way to look at it from what can I salvage from this moment? In the
Yeah.
moment of your training, you're actually retraining yourself to the standard versus it's routine for me because I do this all the time. But now when you're showing somebody, you're realizing, oh, okay, step by step. That's a
Yeah.
very good takeaway from that because I don't think a lot of people think of it that way. Because even though you're precepting and training and you're going step by step, you're actually putting yourself back through those steps as well. It's kind of a
Exactly.
refresher for yourself.
So you're
But
kind of like earning CEUs without earning CEUs.
hey, that's best way to say it right there. This is your CEU training. You're getting
Yeah.
ready for your CEUs right now. So, from a lead or leadership standpoint, how do you stay positive in those moments, knowing that, hey, I could walk in and it be everybody left that was training, or I could walk in and you know, hey, they did show back up. Okay, that was wonderful.
I mean, if they show back up, that's a win. But if they don't, then time for someone else,
Okay.
It's just that time. I mean, second shift is going to have I'm pretty sure it's almost everywhere that second shift is kind of known as like a revolving door, because it is. It's busy, it's hard, it's a lot. You stay up late, and some of us, we wake up early in the morning still, and it's a lot. But you know, every day it's just kind of rewarding because you can kind of see the progression of it all. And throughout the night, you're like, wow, we really did it. We
Right.
really actually knocked some stuff out. We got stuff done, and you can feel accomplished even if you're not finished.
Now, um, and I know you have a trainee, or had a trainee. I think your last trainee has passed on to, you know, graduating status. So from just seeing the first beginning steps to them actually finishing, when you see that and you know that that person they did it, they're actively working and they enjoy it. What does that do for you as a lead to see that hey, somebody made it through the training, They like being here, and that was my shift. I did that.
Yeah. I honestly find it inspiring and motivational because I literally can look at them and be like, now, how do I keep them focused on still loving it? How do I keep them still going every day and like giving them information and, you know, a lot of the times too, like delegating tasks, making them feel like a part of something bigger is very important, especially if they want to progress and learn and grow within SPD. So
Okay.
it's really an accomplishing feeling, honestly. I
I
love
mean,
it.
I like that. I like that you try to get them incorporated into the team aspect, the family environment immediately. Like, hey, you're a part of the team now, so here's our task. Or, hey, now that you're not in training, hey, you can do this. So that does incorporate them in and keeping them a part of the growth. So I know that we have a career ladder. How do you promote the career ladder to these people?
Well, first I tell them that they have a deadline, and then I'm like, what how do you want to grow? Like, you know, even if it's not here, like, you know, the more certifications that you get, you can carry with you, even if you grow out of here. But I always
Right.
encourage people, I'm like, you know, we have this ladder in place. If you want to be more, you can. You can constantly be growing. And you can constantly, like, you know, everybody sometimes is all about, you know, well, they don't pay me enough. But we have that there for you if you need it and want it.
But you know
It's
that's one of the common I guess enemies of sterile processing is pay.
yeah,
So from a pay standpoint, yes, I think we've done a good job of trying to, make the ladder adjustable based on what you want to do. Hey, we got Michelle people saying hi. uh, you got the career ladder in place to make sure that, hey, the growth is there. It's just now we put the onus back on you to say, this is what I want to do. The
yeah,
ladder is a step ladder. Every certification you can move up, and as they ask for, there's a monetary, thing that happens every time you step up on the ladder. Have you found it hard to get people to buy into the ladder?
um yes and no. Some people are hesitant, and I really think it comes down to their confidence in themselves. So helping building that confidence of, like, you know, uh so I'll pull like a thing where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna spontaneously ask you a question, see how you go on it, and see where you're at. And then so like I kind of keep them on their feet, and they're like, oh snap, like I did that. I managed to answer that question and I did great. And it kind of builds that confidence. It gets them maybe wanting more for themselves and for their career, getting them up on that ladder and be like, you can do this. You have done this. You do this every day, and you know, you can do it. So
Now,
encouraging is how
so
they get.
what about the person that confidence is just not there, nervous, anxiety, all of those things kick in, and even though the answer's sitting right there in front of them, they just can't get it because of that nervousness and that overwhelming feeling. What can we do for that individual?
So that individual, so I know that some things that we've talked about is like holding scheduled times, like an hour or so, like, hey, do you want to sit down and study? Or, you know, do you want to come in early before your shift and we can all do a study group? And, you know, I don't mind. I have my certifications. I want to get my CHL. So I'm like, let me help you. So even if they're stuck inside their own head and they really kind of can't get past their own lack of confidence, I'll help you. I'll help you get there. I'm always telling my people that I'm like, I'm here to help you if you want the help. Always.
For the record, everybody, Becky is working on her last certification, so she can join the Gold Crown Club. She just wants to make sure she walk around with her crown on when she does come down to conference. She's
Yeah.
ready. She's ready. So just so you know, she's working toward that. She actually has her books and her studying. So that's why I felt like from a second shift, tedious shift perspective, her perspective is good because she's just now stepping into those shoes of that leadership module. So reading that and then trying to apply that on a shift where the turnover is heavy, the turnover is great, and keeping a positive attitude. So back to that new person. All right, you got them in decon. They graduate from decon and move on to the next step. However, you realize that okay, decon was decon. This is different. They need more encouragement on the table.
So,
There's no patience.
I
What do
mean,
you do?
you give them a little bit more. So you start
Okay.
off, I like to start off with like the easier stuff, build that confidence on those sets, graduate them from those because they have 2 weeks on assembly. And, you can kind of really get them through the easy stuff, build their confidence, and then be like, hey, look, you did really good. You did amazing. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. Like, we double checked your stuff. Try these. I'm here if you need me. Go for it. Just try. That's all you can do is just try. You
So
can't
the
say, I can't do it if you haven't even tried it.
so that positive reinforcement, I know that's a powerful tool for somebody dealing with the, anxiety or the confidence. Um, you're being positive. You're encouraging. Is there a point that it comes to if the person just can't get it? Is there a point that you have to step in, or do you, hey, give them one more week, whatever the case may be, or do you just keep extending that week, or is there a point where you say, okay, this is just not for you? But before you answer, I want to do a quick commercial, and when I come back, I'll get your take on what would you do to a person who's lacking the confidence and can just not get it. They're trying, but they just can't get it. What would Rebecca do in that situation? I'll find out right after this commercial. Welcome back, family. Hey, if you haven't and you need the assistance, definitely reach out to UCDI. Great team over there. They can help you with that mastery of that language, help you with your confidence and presenting. Definitely reach out to them. And I know you saw it. It's almost time. Get your tickets to Scrub Ball. Get your tickets to Scrub Ball. It's gonna be a great time, great friends, great atmosphere, and you also learn some stuff. You get into a couple of those educational forums over there. Definitely get your ticket to Scrub Ball. Becky, Rebecca, we're back. So it's been a couple of weeks. The person's on the table, or even in decon, and they're just not getting it. What do we do for that particular individual?
So, as a lead, I can only say what I would personally do. And what I would personally do is I like to give everybody a fair chance. I would sit them down, have a one-on-one with them, ask them, like, basically, what's up? How can I help you? Help me help you.
Right.
Is there anything that you feel you're struggling with, how come, find out. And if sometimes it's not working, it's just not working. I mean, you can help them so far, but at the same time, if it's just not for you, it's not for you. So help
And
them get to where they need to be if they're not here.
but we've afforded all the resources, and you've made sure that you've given them everything. And again, like I said, that's why that walkthrough, that's why that share day, that's why all of these things are important, because you want to make sure that it is a good fit. And you're not trying to force the fit on anybody. You want to make sure that we've given them every tool to succeed. And again, sterile processing isn't for everybody. And it is up to us as leaders to make sure that we are recognizing that. And if we need to help somebody move on to a better career, we do that too. I don't want people to think that, hey, we're just here to get rid of people as leaders if it's not working. Our job is to make sure that we're protecting the patient. And if this is not the place for you, then hey, how can I help you get to where you want to get to in your steps in your career? That is one of our definite things that we want to do. We just got joined by Star Joanne. How are you? How are you? Um, what we're talking about today is training uh, in the internal talent when you're getting, or even external talent, when you're getting somebody who's never heard of sterile processing, um, the challenges that come with training somebody who, just is not being receptive to that, uh, where you've spent weeks and months training somebody and then, hey, this is not for me. And you have that revolving door. And we're trying to figure out just tips and things that can be done to try to build that person's confidence, try to see how, from a leadership standpoint, the mind state of the lead or the supervisors and managers of these people, when you know that it's hard. Like, we know we have a job crisis. We know we have a staffing crisis right now where it's hard to get people that want to work, period. But then you spend 3 months with somebody and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm done. This is not what I want to do. The toll that that could take on a team mentally, as well as the leads and the management team, because what we've always said is, staffed or not, the work is still coming downstairs from the OR, and the cases are still going upstairs. So at the end of the day, we still have to do what we have to do. So, Rebecca, for your own personal experiences for this fact, what does the morale of the team look like when there's so many people coming and going, and you have your few constants, but you have so many people coming and going? And I'm not even talking about just being short staffed for like COVID or FML or leaves or just FTEs that we can't fill, period. But it's the revolving door of the people that we do hire and then they leave, they come, they leave, they come. What is the morale of the team like when that happens?
Um, so I can speak for my team. I can speak for them and saying that, you know, um, they get a little discouraged at first when, they've invested that amount of time and someone leaves. And it is upsetting, but for the most part, they kind of see it as like, well, it wasn't for you. That's fine. So like, eventually they'll go back and they'll start kicking butt, and they know it that they're the rock, like I they're kind of the rock stars because they've outlasted everybody. So it's like they kind of they got their confidence up there. I'll
I
say that.
I can get that. Um, as a lead of this team, who you have your few constants, and this happens. How do you keep from burning out your rock stars? How do you keep from making sure that the rock stars don't be the next one to turn in a 2 week notice? How do you keep that from happening?
Um, so me personally, I like to take on some of the work for them, and I do. I will. I'll take off stuff like, I'll help out here and there where I can. I'll empty the cart washer, or I'll go and decon. I'm not afraid to do the work with them. So, and I really firmly believe that, having them see their lead work alongside with them, busting butt, keeping it going, is keeping them going as well.
And I can attest to that because I've done the same.
Yep.
Even from a director standpoint, going in decon or getting on a table, knocking out trays, or just being, the runner if they need a runner, showing them that not only are you short staffed, but I'm short staffed, so I'm willing to jump in. And that is a great morale booster if you have your leadership working side by side, going through the same struggles and realizing that, hey, we're in this together.
Yeah.
But for those people that can't do that, or I won't say can't, for those people that are, busy in meetings and, you know, just relying on the team, what would y'all like to see from the higher management that says, "Hey, we're still down here. Don't forget us." Like I just want to know from the frontline team, if you had something to say to like directors and managers, what would that message be to say, "Hey, we're still here going. We understand that it's shortages. We understand that y'all are trying to do your best to help, but from the managers and directors that don't get to see it firsthand, what does that do to your team? What can you say about that?"
Um, so my director, like, I know that, like, he tries his best. And I just keep telling my team, time. We give it time. That's all we can do. It's not going to break us. It's not going to, it is what it is. We all knew what we signed up for. Coming in, we knew what we signed up for. We knew what we got into. And honestly, I will say that, like, having my higher ups, like my supervisor, my director, and even the first shift lead, like, stay, work hard, work together with everybody, like, it really, they know that it's a joint effort in making the things work. Um, as far as like the higher ups, like management above directors and above in the C suite, I do wish that they would come down and see what it's like. I do, but not that's not always possible because they go home at 4. So, but I wish they could see how hard my team works. I do. I wish they could.
And I know that just in trying to alleviate some of that, we do get travelers and
Yes.
make sure that we can try to staff, but uh, again, that's a process to get travelers in. Uh, Again, as fast as we get travelers, we have people leaving. So how do you? So like I said, that revolving door of the second shift and us not being in an area where there's experienced techs applying, I think that's where we're at a disadvantage. But we try to make the most of it. You're right. The try is we try to get people in that we feel like can handle what's going on. However, we still run into the same issue sometimes, and
Yeah.
that is the 13 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is. The training is intense, and not everybody can make it through that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So, back to conveying a message. So, if I had to take a takeaway from you to take to the higher ups in the C-suite, I'm saying that if I'm hearing you correctly, you want more visibility of them seeing what the second shift goes through.
All shifts, because it's
Okay,
all a
okay,
trickle down effect, honestly. Like, first shift does their part. They have their stuff that they work on separately from when before the cases come in. They fill up everything. They go through the sets. They go through the missing instrumentation. They do all the testing. They have their own part to play. And then, it kind of just, as soon as the cases start coming down, that's when it gets busier. But that's when we start to come in too. So it's like everything, we're like a working train, constantly moving, and we can't do it without each other, but we need that steam. So it's like, i wish that um I wish that they could see just how hard we're working and how much, we should be more appreciated, honestly, and how much they should probably take into effect, like, hey, we're doing it. Whether we're staffed or fully or we're not, like, we're doing it, we're trucking through. So, like, a little credit.
Okay, message received. I will make sure that I pass that on to the higher ups. Um, Family, I just wanted to take this time, like I said, to talk to somebody who's actually in the fight. I know I got to get Rebecca back to her team, but I just wanted to talk to somebody who's in the fight, going through the same challenges. Hey, you're not always going to get that experienced person. You're always going to have chances to grow talent, and sometimes, like I said, sometimes that leads to the person realizing that SPD, sterile processing, was not a good choice for them, not a good fit, I should say, for them. And it leaves you, feeling depleted sometimes, but picking yourself back up to say, you know what, I still got to do what I have to do. We'll get somebody else and we'll keep going through this process. I just wanted to talk to the family a little bit because, again, that was some of the challenges that somebody was facing. Somebody went through something similar, and I knew that I could get Rebecca to come and talk about what she's seen on her side of it. And hey, family, I thank y'all for joining me. I just wanted to take the time to talk to you today. Again, we're here for each other. We're here to make sure that at the end of the day, we have a village that we could call on if these challenges arise. And we're here just to spread that teamwork. Again, thank you, Rebecca. I
Thank
know,
you.
like I said, you're in the middle of your challenges right now, but thank you for taking the time to talk to the family about what you've seen from the front line and what you would like to see going forward. I will make sure I convey those messages for you. Um, and I appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks.
Family, as I go, I just wanted to tell you one more time, it happened today. Check your links. Bam. The books are here. They are ready to be ordered. Put your order in. I know you had the links out there. Put your order in. Get your book. One in hardback, one in paperback. You have your choice. You have your choice. And again, any questions, anything, you can definitely send me a message here on LinkedIn, and I can just make sure that we connect and talk about it. Again, family, until next week, hey, this has been Time to Talk. Thank you, Rebecca Clark, for joining us tonight. Hey, family, next week, next Thursday, I do have a treat for you. I'm going to be bringing a guest on to talk about chapters. What to expect when you are looking at joining a chapter for sterile processing in
Ooh.
your state, your city, and what does that look like from membership to CEUs to chapter meetings and how you can, connect with the fellow techs in your state. We're going to talk to somebody who's the president of their chapter, and let's see what's up. Again, let's talk about it. Family, thank you for joining me tonight. Rebecca, again, thank you for everything.
You.
And family, next week, let's talk. Thank you.